Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Nityalala Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatar Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Narayan Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudev Ki Jai, Nityalala Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatar Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai, Nityalala Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatar Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Swāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nityalala Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatar Shata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai, Nityalala Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatar Shata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nityalala Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gaurkishora Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Nityalala Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, Nityalala Pravishta Vaiṣṇava Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gaudiya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Shri Sanatan Bhatt Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadas Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Surup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Mandal Gora Mandal Vrajamandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Sarva Avishta Vridhati Raj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Radha Kund Ramakund Ki Jai, Shri Munadinga Devi Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Binda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. The adivastiti of the disappearance of Nityalala Pravishta Śrīmad Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Narayan Gosvāmī Śrīla Gurudev Ki Jai, and the adivastiti of the appearance day of Nityalala Pravishta Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patita nam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo mahavadanyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna chaitanya namne gauratishe namaha. He Krishna karuna sindho dinabandho jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindayai Tulsi Devai Priyayai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji, and everybody watching on YouTube, like Ganga Mataji, Anjali Didi, Dandavat Pranams. I'm guessing Raseshwari Mataji and Indira Mataji are there. There are 6 devotees right now. If you write a comment, I'll see your name. But pranams to whoever you are. And also pranams to all the devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Jai Dev Prabhu, Krishna Rose, Ananda Pradayini, Vrinda Didi, and everybody else. Dandavat pranams. Oh, Anuradha Mataji, she's watching. Haribo. Okay, so today we're going to read this. This was compiled by the disciples of Nityalila Pravishya Shishimachila Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja. It goes through the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava, and then it gives an example from each one of these qualities to show how he embodied each one of these qualities. Just an example to show that quality. And I think it was, we translated it from Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's Prabandhavali. It's a book of all his articles in one book. And so in the book, at the beginning of the book, it had this section. I've read it one time before here. It's quite long though. It's over 7,000 words. Usually we read about 4,000 words. So I'm not sure. Maybe we'll not. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if we can finish it. Okay. Haribo Madhupala Didi. Hare Krishna. Yes, I am feeling better. Thank you for asking. Okay, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, the full embodiment of a Vaishnava's 26 qualities. God, I don't know what's up with the internet today. I'm wondering if I should switch over to my mobile data. Sometimes my mobile data doesn't work very well. Let's just see what's happening with it right now. If it gets choppy, let's see. It's not even loading. My God, it's just 1 megabyte. Pretty bad. Not even a megabyte. Let me know if it's too bad. I can see how if my mobile data is better. The upload's important thing. Looks like the upload's working right now. But it's like jumping up and down. Oh God. Anyhow. Sorry about that. I'll check the comments every now and then just to see if the internet is working alright. Okay, so Jai Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki Jai. The full embodiment of a Vaishnava's 26 qualities. Of the infinite qualities of a Vaishnava, 26 are given special mention by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, thus pointing us in the direction of the full extent of the Vaishnava's glory. All of these qualities were observed to be naturally present in Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja to the fullest degree. These qualities are fully supramundane, aprakrit. Krishna himself is the source of them. It is never possible for them to exist or arise on the mundane platform. Krishna only infuses those whom he has accepted as his. Shri Krishna only infuses those whom he has accepted as his own with these qualities. Sarva Mahagunagan Shri Krishna Bhakti Krishna Nun Sakali Chari. That's in Chaitanya. All exalted virtues dwell in the body of Vaishnava. All of Krishna's qualities are infused in his devotees. So, quality number 1, Kripalu, merciful. Just as Bhagavan is Dinabandhu, the friend of the fallen, the Vaishnava is Paradukha Dukhi, aggrieved by the sorrows of others. The cause of all the living entities' sorrows is forgetfulness of Bhagavan. Forgetfulness, in this case, refers to the living entity's indifference to its own natural, unconditional propensity to serve Bhagavan. Because the living entity has forgotten the propensity that is his only true bliss, his eternal bliss, his parananda. Because the living entity has forgotten the propensity as his only true bliss, his eternal bliss, his Parananta, because extreme sorrow has taken its place. The soul's disconnection from the supersoul is the ultimate sorrow and has become the three types of material miseries. The Vaiṣṇava is aggrieved by that Paratuk, not mundane sorrows and scarcities. For decades, for almost 12 months a year, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja busied himself going from home to home in the villages of Bengal, Bihar, and Assam, preaching the message of Sri Chaitanya, striving to turn everyone towards the worship of Krishna. In those days, especially in rural areas, there was very little infrastructure, and people were very poor. Regardless, every year, enduring all manner of hardship, he would travel to the remotest village regions, places where other preachers were hesitant to go. His was a heartfelt manner of preaching, full of love and kindness. To this day, people in those villages recall his visits with tears in their eyes. This is something he did year after year. Most of the villages were accessible only by foot, on paths often knee-deep in mud. He would have to walk miles and miles on these muddy paths in the torrential rain. Often, in the absence of boats, he had to cross rivers carrying his clothes in a bundle above his head. Every year, the people of these villages would eagerly await his scheduled arrival, and every year, he would bring many of them to Navadvip and make all arrangements for them there, nurturing them like a father, and taking them on pilgrimage of Sri Gora Hari's holy abode. I just remember going on Bengal Prachar with Tirtha Maharaj from Kartik time to Gaur Purnima time. I did it 3 years, and lots of times there was no road into a village, and so we would have to walk through rice fields and have all our cooking equipment, our speaker system, everything. We had and all our luggage and all that. We had to carry that through rice fields. There's no road into the village. Or like there'd be one like a walking path, but like you couldn't even bring a rickshaw or anything. Like it was really yeah. Like this, it would slope down on both sides, and it would be too because of the rain and everything like that. There was no like you couldn't bring any kind of wheeled anything. Okay, 2. But this he would do even during the rainy season, when amazing. And he'd go into like very rural villages. He'd go into the Sundarbans, with the Adivasi people, the Aboriginal people. Okay, so now 2. Akrita Droha, non-malicious. Mahabhagavat Vaishnavas are ever anxious for the living entities to attain ultimate auspiciousness. Hence, they never engage in any sort of malicious activity towards any living creature. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was the embodiment of a non-malicious disposition. What to speak of malice, he was always making sure that he did not cause anyone any sort of agitation. He would always say, Jivana nirvahe ane udvega narive, para upakare nija sukha pasare. That's Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Thakur. Sat Shri Krishna Kirtana Jadi Manase Tohar. I think that's, yeah. So, in the course of maintaining one's life, one must not disturb others, but rather forego one's own comforts for the benefit of others. He was truly the radiant personification of this statement. He was even extremely hesitant to ask anything of the devotee who looked after him. One should not agitate the Vaishnavas, he would say, revealing the inner torment it caused him to ask anything of anyone. When he was preaching and staying with different grihasthas, he was always careful not to cause them any disturbance, even if he knew them well. And these traveling with him were also careful in this regard. If he happened to arrive very late at night at someone's home, he would tell them, "Do not worry, we already took prasad." Even if this was not true, he would assure the grahastas he had eaten and he would stay hungry through the night. In general, he never said anything to anyone, even his own disciples, that would disturb them in any way. He would often say, "I blow even on panta bhat." That's in Bengal. Whatever rice is left over at nighttime, they soak it in water and then they'll eat that for breakfast. So that's called panta. It's rice soaked in water overnight. And so I blow even on panta bhat before I eat it. Not only that, if someone wanted to provoke him, he would not allow himself to be affected. He was very tolerant in this way, and this disposition of his was very well known throughout the Gaudiya Vaiṣṇava community. Three, Satyasar. And Haribol Vidyalala Sadidi. So Satyasar, he was truthful. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja had taken to heart the essence of the supreme truth manifested in the current of transcendental conceptions flowing from Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Śrīmad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Keshav Goswami. He never deviated from the practice and propagation of that truth, even for a moment. No plea or opposition could make him waver even slightly from his conviction in the truth they taught. His conviction was in following the guidance of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Śrīmad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Keshav Goswami. In this context, he would say, "Acharya Jai Mata She Mata Sar Arjata Mata Saba Jauk Chara Kar." That means the conclusions of the acharyas are the essence. All other conclusions can fall to ruin. So, four, he was sama. How do you say that word? Equanimous. Equanimous. Sorry, I don't know why I can't say that. Equanimous. Anyways, he is equal to all. Sorry about that. Right. So in happiness, equanimous. Sorry, I don't know why I couldn't think of how to say that. In happiness or distress, in the company of friends or foes, whether receiving honor or insult from others, in all situations, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was endlessly calm and composed. Because of this samabuddhi, or equilibrium, his tolerance was quite natural. He could be in a place that had an utterly foul stench and not be bothered in the slightest. Sama doshtrashma kanchana. That's from Bhagavad Gita 6.8. It says, "Pebbles and gold are the same." Sama loshtrashma kanchana. Pebbles and gold are the same, he would say. In places that were horrendously noisy, he would, without difficulty, go about his writing and studies, and then easily take rest. Even in extremely insulting situations, he would remain unperturbed. "Everyone is a servant of Krishna and my teacher," he would say. With this attitude, his expertise at giving honor, whether it was to a small child or to an extremely arrogant person, was genuinely astonishing. To have love for God, friendship with the pure devotees, mercy for the ignorant, and indifference for the envious is quite impossible to even conceive of for those of mundane intelligence. The genuine realization that all living beings are servants of Krishna is the basis of the Madhyam Adhikari's equal vision. But the way he would offer pranam to his disciples, or those on the level of his disciples, and address them as Prabhu, is indicative of how a Mahabhagavat sees others. 5. Nirdosh, faultless. In regard to this virtue, Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur has written the following. As Vaishnavas are exalted beings, their character needs to be exalted and worthy of following. If a Vaishnava's character is poor, then how will other souls who are of weaker character learn proper behavior? Taking these matters into consideration, all of those who are acharyas and who impart mantras should and will make special efforts to keep their character free from flaw, as Bhaktivedānta Thakur said. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was naturally of such flawless character. The filth of the 5 places where Parikshit Maharaj allowed Kali to live, gambling, intoxication, illicit sex, violence to other living entities, and gold, never dared to touch him. When he left his home at the age of 9 and spent his whole life dedicated to following the guidance of Paramahansa Gaudiya Vaishnavas, what appeal would these vices of Kali have for him? Even though he was the president of a huge institution, he never had a personal bank account. He used to say, my bank is the pocket of my kurta. Whatever I have for the service of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas is all there. For the last 15 years of his manifest presence, he stopped even touching money. The devotees serving him saw to financial matters, and from time to time he would simply instruct those devotees to provide financial support where needed for the service of Bhagavan. No one ever saw him indulge in any kind of luxury of convenience. All his life, he used simple, ordinary soap and a rather old-fashioned type of rubber shoes. As long as a garment was not ripped or falling apart, he could not and would not part with it. If someone gave him a new set of clothes, he would ask the devotees to pass it on to serve the Vaishnavas. Once, someone gave him a new kind of soap that was sandalwood scented, and he got rather upset. Are you trying to get a license for your own indulgences by getting me to use this? He said. Use this in the service of Shri Radha Vinod Bihari, please. They are the only ones who have the right to enjoy such nice things. It's just sandalwood scented. Haribol Nandanandan. Now 6. Vedanya, magnanimous. My God, I'm using sandalwood scented soap right now. Yikes. Okay, so 6. Vedanya, magnanimous. What is generally referred to as magnanimity was denounced by Srila Rupa Goswami when he offered his obeisance to Sri Gaurasundar and addressed him as Mahavadanya, greatly magnanimous. One who is well versed in the wondrous qualities of Sri Krishna Chaitanya's mercy becomes infused with a similar Mahavadanya quality. It was by the painstaking and heartfelt endeavors of greatly magnanimous personalities such as Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Śrīmad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj that all corrupted forms of the soul's eternal religion were dispelled, and the pristine current of the highest teachings preserved within this, earthly realm. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Keshav Goswami Maharaj founded Sri Gaudiya Samiti to safeguard this pure current of devotional conceptions, and then entrusted it to his dear Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, whom he had taught and trained since childhood. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja displayed his great magnanimity by keeping that sacred current undisturbed and undiluted. He would always say, Sri Gaudiya Samiti is non-different from my Guru Pad Padma, and I can never be separated from my Guru Pad Padma. He simply sought to inspire the living entities in the process of worship that was revealed by his Guru Varga, worship of Brajendra Nandan Shri Krishna as served by the gopis of Vraj. He kept an extremely wide berth of all devious conceptions and strongly emphasized the maintenance of standards set by Śrīmad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, which included the strict observance of Chaturmasya Vrat, Purushottam Vrat, Ekadashi, Shri Krishna Janmashtami, Shri Ram Navami, and all other sacred fasting days. Moreover, he never condoned any compromise in regard to the conduct of initiated devotees, which meant strict prohibition of them engaging in the worship of demigods and goddesses, and consuming tea, pan, alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, and non-vegetarian foodstuffs. One lady, who had heard Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's Hari Katha for a long time and wanted to follow proper Vaishnava Sadachar, repeatedly approached him to receive Harinam in Diksha. But her husband refused to give up eating meat, and she had to cook for him. Finally, after a great many tearful requests for him to just give her a mala, that he had not even chanted. I do not have the right to do anything independently. I am bound and obligated to my superiors. You are a mother to me. Are you going to force your son to do something that is forbidden? His great magnanimity was that he safeguarded the impeccable standard of Vaishnava Dharma so carefully amid the ocean of contaminations that is Kali Yuga, and inspired his followers to do the same. Nirapeksha na hoile dharma na jai rakshani. One cannot protect dharma unless one is uncompromising. Where is that from? Just looking. That's in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila 323. Haribo Champak Mataji. Mridu, gentle. The Bhakti Lata, the vine of devotion, is very tender. It cannot survive in a hard heart. If one does not relinquish kutarka, that's specious reasoning, and desires for sense enjoyment, the heart does not become soft. And if the heart does not soften, Bhakti Devi cannot appear there. As taste, as ruchi, arises for anything related to Bhagavan, the heart softens to the point that it remains constantly melted. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's nature was so soft and gentle that the moment people came into his presence, they would be overwhelmed by it. Thousands and thousands of people were blessed to be able to bathe simultaneously in the nectarous ocean of affection of his gentle heart. Everyone felt like they were the special object of his affection and felt supreme satisfaction in that. In the ambience of that softness, no one could be hesitant or withdrawn. Whoever came into the proximity of his childlike tenderness would blossom and seat him on the throne of their heart. He himself would say, "I am a child, and you are all my guardians." He would also say, "We are all children in front of Bhagavan. If you cannot be simple-hearted like a child, you can't become a Vaishnava. Just as an infant has no other language besides crying, we have no other alternative than to weep while chanting Harinam before Bhagavan. If the infant does not cry, the mother doesn't give him milk. Not that one should make a show of crying. It has to be the crying of the heart. And Bhagavan, who lives in the heart, knows well what that is. Can a parent remain unmoved by the crying of their child? 8. Shuchi, clean. Gangara parasha hoile paschate pavana darshane pavitra koro eto margun. That's from Ebar Karuna Koro by Narottam Thakur. One becomes pure by touching the Ganga, but your quality is that the mere sight of you is purifying. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was truly the personification of such purificatory power. What to speak of seeing him, just remembering him purifies the heart. This is why it has been said in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 1.3.10, Tirthi kurvanti tirtani svantasthena gadabrita. Because you devotees carry Bhagavan Gadadhar bound within your heart, you make holy places holy. By the rare darshan of such Mahabhagavats, the living entity becomes purified of the inclination for sinful activity. The tendency for sin must be dispelled for one to become inspired to perform Hari Bhajan. Then, by hearing the divine message emanating from the lips of those devotees, the living entity can advance in Hari Bhajan. Many, many fortunate persons were drawn to Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja in this way and became engaged in Hari Bhajan. In regard to cleanliness, he would say, purity, inner and outer, depending on Hari. Up in is not to be given up in any condition of purity or impurity, because it is the vision and service Shri Vigraha, who is not different from Srinam, is there is no need to practice stringent and ritualistic standards of cleanliness in the smarta in the Haribol, sorry about that. The Wi-Fi stopped working, and then I switched over to my mobile data. That stopped working, and then I switched back to the Wi-Fi, and it started working again. So now it's going fast. It's just going up and down. I don't know what the problem with the issue is. Anyways, sorry about that. I don't know how long it cut off for. Anyways, I'm just gonna read a little bit. I'll move back a little bit. The tendency for sin must be dispelled for one to become inspired to perform Hari Bhajan. Then, by hearing the divine message emanating from the lips of those devotees, the living entity can advance in Hari Bhajan. Many persons in this way and became engaged In regard to cleanliness, all manner of purity depends on remembering the lotus-eyed Ji Hari. Sri Nam Bhajan is not to be given up in any condition of purity or impurity, because it is the eternal function of the living entity. Chanting Nam with conviction and serving Shri Vigraha, who is different, is imperative for every sadhak and sadhika. But there is no need to practice the stringent and ritualistic standards of cleanliness as observed in the Smartha tradition. So, it's driving me nuts. Oh my god, it's not even a megabyte. For a second, it made it up to 60, and now it's not even a megabyte. Oh, that is too frustrating. I'm really sorry, buddy. Okay. I think we might just make it to the halfway point and then we'll finish for today. Okay, so 9. Akinchana. Earth, opulence, education, and physical beauty is true akinchanata, possessionlessness. Only one who is akinchan is trinarapi sunich. That mood of being bereft of any and all possessions, and that quality of being humbler than a blade of grass, was evident in every step Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja took. He would often say, I am always staying under trees. I never stay in buildings. I really have no address. My only real refuge is under trees. These were not mere words. He would spend day after day in utter delight in the rickety cottages of very poor devotees. Once in Koch Bihar, he was invited to stay at the home of a poor disciple. That night, a storm blew in and it began raining very heavily. Water began leaking through the thatched roof on his bed. Instead of telling anyone, he just sat through the whole night holding an umbrella over his head to keep dry. He even forbade his sevak from saying anything to the host. In this way, he did not get any rest all night. But he felt more comfortable staying with poor devotees in their straw cottages than with proud rich people in their multi-story mansions. Actually, in one of the Bengali Vyas Puja books, I read the lady. We have a picture of her also, the lady in whose home he stayed, who is just in this thatched roof, tiny hut, and she was the one who told the story. I forgot what her name is. I could probably even find it actually, but yeah. So this is But yeah, he stayed up the whole night just holding an umbrella over his head and didn't mention anything to them. If ever, Rukmini Didi. If ever coerced, sorry, I don't know how to say some words. If ever coerced to go to a rich person's house, he was always very uncomfortable in that environment. He would always say, Bhagavan has more mercy for the poor. Aristocrats, scholars, and wealthy people are very arrogant. You cannot buy Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas with wealth, opulence, and erudition. These efforts to buy me...
coerced.
Oh, coerced. Okay. So, these efforts to buy me really make me uncomfortable. Poor people naturally have a humble mood because of their lack of money, and such a mood is favorable for sadhan bhajan. If those people gain sadhu sangha, they can easily progress on the path of sadhan bhajan. They can easily progress on the path of sadhan bhajan much more easily than those who are rich and arrogant. Poverty is really not a curse, but an advantage in obtaining the real mercy of Guru, Vaishnavas, in Bhagavan. Such an Akinchan saint who has no enmity towards anyone and who is wholly indifferent to wealth, position, and prestige is truly rare. 10. Sarvopakaraka, works for the benefit of all. Bharata bhumite manusya janma hoilo jar, janma sarthak kori koro para upakar. Those who have taken a human birth in the land of India should make their lives worthwhile by engaging in the welfare of others. It's from Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? What is it? It's from Adi Lila 941. It is through the compassion of Sri Chaitanya Chandra, the Lord of mercy, that one greatest help to any and all living entities. The resonance of the Krishna Sankirtan propagated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simultaneously invokes supreme auspiciousness for mountains, trees, plants, animals, birds, and human beings of every kind. In order to duly and beautifully spread Śrīmad Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan Yajna everywhere, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja established temples and ashrams everywhere, thus providing all living entities with the means to gain ultimate auspiciousness. Even when a dangerous creature like a snake appeared in front of him in the assembly where he was lecturing on Bhagavatam, he told the frightened audience not to harm it in any way, and had it listen to that Bhagavat Katha. After a short while, the snake went away peacefully. He remarked that he had not detected any harmful intent in the snake, and surmised that it was likely a special sadhak. On countless occasions, he delivered various ghosts and spirits by reciting Harikatha and chanting Harinam to them in the middle of the night. He would provide Mahaprasad meals to the poor and distressed, and would even provide them financial assistance. Oh, there's some fascinating ghost stories with Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Anyway, so I'm just going to continue on, but maybe sometime we can go through those. 11. Shanta, peaceful. Shamo man nishtata buddhe. Sorry. Shamo man nishtata buddhe. Peace means absorbing one's intelligence in me. That's Śrīmad Bhagavatam 11:19-33. The jiva only becomes truly peaceful if his intelligence becomes fixed upon Krishna. Those who want material enjoyment and those who want salvation or mystic powers are not peaceful. Aside from the devotees of Krishna, no one is peaceful. What is that verse? Anyways, whatever. Being peaceful does not just mean being disciplined and sober. It means being free from agitation, having brought one's senses under control, having no violent impulses, never being susceptible to provocation, being content, etc. Aptly named Santosh, which means satisfied, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja displayed these virtues from a very early age, and thus became dear to everyone. It was because he was devoted to Krishna from birth that he went to Navadvip just once at the age of 9 and became fully surrendered to Krishna, never to return to the unrest of family life. People commonly say, Sangsara Dharma Boro Dharma. The Dharma of family life is the greatest Dharma. Or they say, Age Bhog, Pore Tyag. First enjoyment, then renunciation. These popular sayings encourage entanglement in family life and cast people into the oceans of misery via marriage. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja never gave any such instruction to the jivas. He would say, though the propensity for enjoyment does not subside temporarily through enjoying, it never truly subsides or becomes satiated. Only through sadhu sangha, which causes the jiva's consciousness to blossom and enables him to gain knowledge of his true nature and function, do the jiva's desires become soothed. That gives him peace, and then, by serving Krishna, he gains parashanti, supreme peace. Oh, this one's really good. 12. Krishnaika Sharan, surrendered exclusively to Krishna. All the qualities of a Vaishnava are centered on this quality of exclusive surrender to Krishna. Like the central point from which it is possible to draw a circle's circumference, this quality becomes the central pivot around which the whole of all the glorious qualities of a Vaishnava exist. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja would frequently recite verses like Karma kechit jnana valambaka vayam tu haridasanam padatrana valambaka. Sorry, the internet's... Anyways, some resorts to fruitive action and others to impersonal knowledge. But I simply take shelter of the shoes of the servants of Hari, which ferry souls across the ocean of material existence. It seems like that's what's happening with the internet. Huh? It like goes down and then it comes back, and then it goes down and comes back. So, see, now it's really fast, and then it was just gone for a second. Anyway, sorry about that. So, if the internet starts to get choppy, I think it will. You just have to wait a little while and it'll come back. Okay, so some resort to fruit of action knowledge, but I simply take care of the shoes of the servants of Hari, which ferry souls across the Ayo me matram vitata dalani Vaiṣṇava kripa. Oh, that's from the what is it? The Swaniyam Tadashakam by Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Thakur. It's the second to the last verse. The mercy of the Vaishnavas, which destroys the illusion of Maya, is my only aid. He would always say, my every activity occurs strictly according to the orders of my masters. I am bound to them. I have no way to do anything independently. At night, when it was time to take rest, he would often be seen conversing with some invisible presence. When asked repeatedly who it was, he would relent and quietly, my masters came. In answer to the question of who his masters were, he would point to the pictures of the Guru Varga. He would often be heard murmuring from the following kirtan: Rishabhanu Sutta Charana Sevani Oibo Je Palyadasi Radha Paksha Chari Je Jana She Jan Je Bhave She Bhave Thake Ami to Radhika Pakshapati Sadha Kabo Nahi Heri Thake. When will I become a maidservant of Rishabhanu's daughter? Let everyone aside from Sri Radha's party be as they are. I am always partial to Sri Radha and never look upon those who are not. Whenever there was a disturbance in the service at one of the mats, it was always Thakurani, Srimati Radhika, who would report it to him, not Thakur, Krishna. Accordingly, he would then take steps to remedy the situation. He always referred to Srimati Radhika in this manner, as Thakurani. He would rarely ever speak her name aloud. In this way, he expressed his Karshanaika Sharanatva, his exclusive surrender to Krishna's dearmost Srimati Radhika, which is the topmost zenith that this quality can reach. So, not only was he Krishnaika Sharan, but he had Karshanaika Sharanatva. Okay, so now, what time is it? Okay, we still have 6 minutes, so maybe we'll do 1 or 2 more qualities and then we'll finish for today. Akam, desireless. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja never sought anything from anyone in this world. He used to say, "My Gurudev told me, you will not have to worry about serving Bhagavan. The moment you think of something you need in order to render some service, the arrangement will be made." In reality, he's speaking this, he says, in reality, Sri Gurudev alone is the main custodian of all service rendered to Shri Gaur Radha Vinod Bihari. He is the one who makes all the arrangements. We simply collect ingredients of service as per his arrangement. What to speak of this world? There is nothing we seek from anyone in the entire universe. Instead of seeking to receive anything from anyone, he would endlessly glorify Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga without any trace of ulterior motive. He would gesture toward the pictures of his Guru Varga and say, they see to all our maintenance and nourishment. All this time, they have been seeing to our real welfare. They are doing so right now as well, and they will certainly continue to do so in the future. 14. Niriha, effortless, indifferent. All the endeavors of one who is Jivan Mukta, who is liberated while living in this world, are strictly for the sake of Krishna's pleasure. As neither indulgence nor renunciation is part of the living entity's eternal dharma, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was never seen to engage in either sort of pursuit. He displayed this sort of indifference in his life, thereby expressing the pinnacle of Sharanagati. Nija bala cheshta prati bharasa chariya tomara ichaya aji nirbhara koriya. Giving up faith in my own strength and efforts, I am here at your will, relying upon you. In one sense, he was constantly striving, engaging his body, mind, and words in the service of Sri Hari. On the other hand, he was utterly inactive when it came to accumulating profit, worship, and prestige. Now, 15. Sthira, steady. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja would sit for hours on end in the midst of an assembly or on his bed, immersed in his activities. It seemed like an impossible task to us, who are of rather restless natures. This was truly an indication of the steadiness imbued throughout his body, mind, and words. Once a devotee said to him, "I have been looking for you for so many days. You never stay in one place." In response, he said, "What is sthira? One who is always engaged in the service of Shri Guru Gauranga is sthir. Everyone else is not sthir." Once, a devotee living in the math in Navadip expressed the desire to live in one of the maths in Vrajmandal. Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja said to him, "For one who has not realized the glory of Vraja Mandal is just a place with trees, roads, houses, ponds, and fields. That is why our Guru Varga has sung, Gurudev Boro Kripa Kori Gora Vana Maje. And then Chittastir Habe Shakala Sahibo Ekante Bhajibo Hari. The meaning is, Gurudev, bestowing great mercy on me, you have given me a place in Gaura's forest and ordered me to sit in this Vraj and chant Harinam. But when will you have mercy on this servant and give me the qualification to do so? Then my mind, my chitta will be steady. I will tolerate everything, and I will perform bhajan of Hari with exclusive focus. And then he continued, Shri Guru Padma is the foremost Vrajavasi. The place he instructs us to do bhajan, the place he instructs us to do bhajan in is indeed Vraj. One who sees the forests of Gauda and Vraj as non-different is a real Vrajavasi. He alone is sthir, because his soul is offered to the instruction of Guru Padma. That is how one attains the qualification to perform one-pointed bhajan. Okay, we'll finish with this paragraph because there's just 1 minute left. So, 16. Vijita Shardguna, victorious over the 6 enemies. One who has conquered lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy is referred to as Vijita Shardguna. It was as if the word Indriya Tarpan, sense enjoyment, was not in Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's dictionary. These 6 foes of the soul had no sway over him. All of his senses were fully dovetailed with the senses of Shishi Guru Gauranga. So he was quite naturally Vijita Shardguna. Okay, it is now 8 o'clock, so we will stop here and we will continue on. I think we'll continue reading from this. Let's see. Okay, so we made it to Mitta Bhuk, moderate and diet. So we'll continue from this point, not tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, because tomorrow I wanted to read an article that in the middle looking on. We just did the last proofread of it. It's called Mathura, the Saraswat Mission in the Heart of Vraj. Our Śrīla Gurudev's preaching in beautiful article, and it's quite long though. And the day after tomorrow, second half of the Sorry about that. I was just saying that we were going to, we will complete reading these 26 qualities embodied by Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja the day after tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to read this article called Mathura, about my Śrīla Gurudev's preaching in Mathura. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Sorry. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gaudiya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gana Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharaj Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai, Priyaya Keshavashacha, Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi, Satyavataya Namo Namaha, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyaya Vacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams, dear devotees, Nandanandan Prabhu, Champak Mataji, and I see 7 devotees on YouTube and Facebook. I don't know who you are though, because most people didn't write comments. So, but I see Ganga Mataji, Anjali Didi, Mantu Bala Didi, Vidya Lalasa Didi. I'm guessing Seshri Mataji and Indira Mataji are there. And pranams to all the devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Jayadev Prabhu, Vidya Lalasa Didi, Krishna Rose, Ananda Pradayani, Vrinda Didi, Anuradha Didi, Anuradha Mataji, and everybody else. Haribol. Alright, so see you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. So for the big festival of our Srila Gurudev's disappearance day and Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's appearance day.